And I think that our guys doing a really great job for us. So anytime you see our officers on the street, make sure you give them a thank you. Tell them, hey, we're really proud of what y'all are doing, because I certainly am. All right, now we're going to go on to our life-saving awards. I'm going to change microphones. Now make sure if y'all feel like, if y'all need a drink or something else to drink, y'all get up and roam about. It's not going to bother me if you want to get you another drink. There's plenty of beverages back there. There's plenty of tea, adult beverages, whatnot, and the restrooms. If anybody didn't know where the restrooms are, they're right over here. Don't sit there and dance. If you need to go, get up and go. You're not going to offend me, okay? Tonight, we're also here to recognize the few that went well above the call of duty. Proverbs 16:9, the mind of a man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. As you will hear tonight, some of these testimonies, some of the actions that some of these guys took tonight, you will understand very well that it's amazing how God works through law enforcement. I think everybody that works in my department is a God-fearing soul, and I'm so blessed to have these people that work with me every single day. And it's so impressive in how things come together in law enforcement, how something will happen in the county, and this 750 square miles in this county, and we have maybe 2 or 3 deputies on at times, and a call could drop, and you know, that deputy could be anywhere in the county, and a lot of times they're just within a mile away. And sometimes those minutes mean the difference between life and death. And some of the things we're going to discuss tonight did not end as well as some, but a lot of them ended with a life being saved. And with that, we're so grateful that these guys are capable of performing their duties. These guys, they just demonstrated skill and bravery. They acted with daring and self-sacrifice. And I'm talking to those of you that are here tonight to accept an award. I'm proud to say, I can't say enough how glad I am to have that you're working with me at the DSS, Trinity County Sheriff's Office. You are the people that when every fiber of your body screams run, you don't. When others flee, you don't. You are the people that I've surrounded myself with who run towards gunfire, not away from it. You're the guys that are always doing the impossible for sometimes the ungrateful. And you always run towards danger. And for that, I will always love you guys. And I will always be grateful for you. You see, courage is not the absence of fear. It's being afraid and going anyway. And that's what these guys do a lot. We're always scared. We're always afraid. We never know what's going to be the other end, but at the times that you can't think about that, and you have to go anyways. And that's what these guys do. And they've done this a lot, and it just makes me proud to have to work for these people. This job is a calling. It's a calling, a duty that most will never understand. And in order to understand it, you have to put yourself in their situation. And it's amazing some of the things that I've learned being sheriff of this county, and I'm honored to have this job and work with these people. And I've told people several times that I'm so blessed. This county is blessed to have the men and women that we have working at the Trinity County Sheriff's Office with the pay that they get. This is one of those times where you look at your commissioner and make a face. Neil, I'm sorry I had to do that. You know I had to pick on you tonight. Stephen, you know, we love you guys. Y'all do a great job for us, but we're gonna pick on you anyways. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacekeepers, for they will be called children of God." And I truly believe that. Our first award goes out tonight. This happened back in October 16, 2013, at 6 o'clock p.m. John Archer. John Archer said he has been with this department for a long time. And I read his statement about this night, and this is one of those testimonies where you can say God put him in the right place at the right time. He said he was in Trinity, and he just got that feeling. He was fixing to turn down 356 to go towards the lake, and he just had a feeling in his gut he needed to go to Groveton for some particular reason. And when he gets to Groveton, he pulls up into the parking lot, and one of the other deputies runs out, jumps in the car, and says, "Hey, let's get down to the church," which was about a half a block away. There's a small child down there that is choking. And so they respond to the church. John goes in. John is trained in CPR, and this baby is lifeless. This baby is turned blue. The two workers that are there are working on the child, trying to save it, and the child is completely just unresponsive. And John's quick thinking, grabbed the child after he figured out what was going on, was able to turn the child up on its stomach and do the life-saving maneuvers of hitting the child in the back and dislodging what was choking the child. And the child wasn't taken to the hospital. The child recovered greatly. I don't think they're here tonight. Are they here? Are they here?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Hey, would y'all come up here? I believe the young man that was the baby that night was here, right? Good deal. This is Chase. This is Chase Absher, everybody. He's turned into a fine young man. And Archer, would you come up here, please? Now this is like I said, this is a testament to, had Archer been further away, I'm not saying that somebody else couldn't have eventually done the job, but it didn't look good that night, and we're so proud that this happened. And this young man recovered, and you can see he's a happy, healthy, bouncing baby boy.
One more.
Thank you. This right here is what makes it worth everything we do, I promise you, folks. Thank y'all very much for coming. Our next award goes to a couple of our guys, John Sykes, Sergeant Jeremy Alexander, and our Chief Deputy Tommy Park. On November the 19th, 2018, early in the morning, about 7:43, Deputy Sykes, Sergeant Alexander, and Chief Deputy Park responded to a call off of FM 2262 to a one-car accident. This vehicle had left the roadway and went into the creek. Now the car wasn't totally submerged, but the creek was rising, the water was running swift, and anybody knows a car in swift waters is a dangerous situation. This man had sustained some multiple crippling injuries. I believe he had broke some bones, was unable to open the car door and get out of the vehicle. These guys jumped in the creek and was able to get this man to safety. And I think he's here tonight. Mr. Brown, are you here? He didn't make it. Anyways, so we want to present the award to these three guys. John, if you come up here. Jeremy and Tommy. I want to recognize these guys for their selfless act of jumping into rushing water like that. It can always be dangerous, and pull this man to safety. We certainly appreciate that. Now with this, we're giving them a plaque, and it's also they're getting a pin that's called the Life Saving Award, which is a pretty good honor in the state of Texas.
Okay, look this way.
Our next award, again, it goes another one of those. We got 750 square miles, and how a deputy is at the right place at the right time. This was on May 15th, 2018, about 7 o'clock in the afternoon. Russell Holmes, who is he was a full-time deputy at the time. Now he's a reserve for us. He went over to work at the appraisal office. He raises your taxes. I give him a hard time for that, but. He was a fine deputy. We certainly missed him, but he stayed on as a reserve. But this call came in with a 911 call that a man was cutting a tree And as people know that's ever cut a tree before, sometimes things can go wrong. And this tree ended up going the wrong way, twisting, and ended up falling on the man that was cutting the tree and fell on his torso, and basically had him stop from breathing. I think it broke some bones, and he was basically lifeless. The 911 call came in. Holmes was less than about a mile away, driving to Glendale, and was able to respond to the incident. And when he got there, the man was blue, not breathing, and was probably just had minutes. Holmes tried to get the tree off of him, but realized that the tree was too heavy. He looked down, and the state of what he was in, the chainsaw was still there, and it was still running. So he was able to take the chainsaw, cut the tree up in smaller pieces, get it off the man, and the man began, I think, to come back and breathe again. So, I believe God put him in that position. And Rodney Parrish is here tonight with us. Rodney, you still here?
Yes, sir.
This is Rodney. We want to appreciate your comment. Thank you, Tom. Y'all come up here, please. This is some of that fast thinking. Not everybody can operate under pressure or high tension situations, and we're just thankful that Deputy Holmes here knew how to use a chainsaw. Got it? Our last award goes tonight to a group of young men and a couple citizens. This particular incident ended up in the death of one person, but it saved the life of another. And this right here, this incident, I showed up right as it was after the deputies had got there, and I truly watched and witnessed from my standpoint heroes that day, and I was very proud of them. This day, back in May 19th, 2019, about the afternoon, I was driving back from Groveton, and a call come in that a senior couple had driven off the boat ramp out in Glen Haven. Driven off, and their truck just disappeared underwater. The call came in from the neighbors, who thankfully, one person, and only one person, this is another one of those cases where God put somebody to watch, because one person saw this car go underwater. No one would have known had this one person not seen this car go underwater, this truck. So she saw him go out, and the truck floated out about 50 yards before it sank. And if you know Trinity River, Trinity Waters, Lake Livingston, you can't see 2 feet under the water. This car floated out to about 12 feet of water, and this truck sank completely. The neighbor saw it, called 911, and said this couple had just drove off into the water. Now, Glen Haven is a very difficult subdivision to maneuver. There's several boat ramps out there, several private boat ramps out there, so finding them was very difficult. Traffic on 3188 was very difficult. People were not moving out of the way for the red and blue lights. So it took about 30 minutes to get there. These people were underwater for 30 minutes. Okay? Miss Fellows is here tonight. Where are you at, Miss Fellows? She's right back here. She was underwater for 30 minutes in her vehicle. She found a pocket of air. She was trapped under there with her husband and their dog. Two citizens, and one of them, George Kane, who works with the volunteer. He's a volunteer with the Trinity Fire Department. I think he lives in Glen Haven. And we got Craig Park, who's in the back here, was a neighbor. He was able to run out. They started swimming out to this truck, trying to go underwater and get them out. The officers arrived. We had our game warden, Randy Watts. Randy Watts is trained in swift water rescue and underwater rescues. Thank God he's trained in that particular area of expertise. Randy, would you stand up, come up here? Randy Watts. We had George Kane, as the citizen that day in the fire department. Would you come up here, George? We had Craig Parton, if you'd come up here, and lost my place here. Deputy McVickers and Deputy Harrelson. Would y'all come up here, please? Now, when I showed up to this scene, all of these guys were treading water, swimming out there, trying to find this truck. They were able to locate the vehicle, and multiple times they would go down, one at a time or two at a time, try to find a way to get in the truck. All the doors in this truck were locked. Trying to break the glass. Now, if you can imagine trying to break glass on a truck, on a vehicle, it's hard enough when it's there if you've ever tried to do it. But imagine trying to get enough momentum underwater to break the glass. Thankfully, Meatloaf over here, McVickers, who's short and stocky, you can tell he's pretty stout. I think he ended up with they had multiple tools trying to break this glass to get them out. Fortunately, he was able to bust the back glass, and when he did, a great big air pocket had come out. They were very quick. They found Miss Fellows and pulled her up. I was standing at the bank. They swam. This is about 50 yards out. They brought her back. Other guys were out there diving down, trying to find Mr. Fellows. And then one of them, as they were trying to go down and dive down, the dog ended up coming out. And Game Warden Watts and I believe Harrelson kept diving down, and they were able to retrieve Mr. Fellows. Swimming 50 yards back to the land, pulling these people back in. Sadly, Mr. Fellows did not survive that day, but Mrs. Fellows did. And we're so thankful that she is here tonight with us. Miss Fellows, if you'd please come up here. Now, this is one of the heroic actions this is one that I witnessed firsthand that I couldn't say that I've ever been prouder, because I was there that day to watch these guys. And if you think rescuing somebody underwater is difficult, it is difficult. These guys were swimming out there. It's dangerous. They were in deep water. They were in the water that day was bad. And it's just amazing that they were able to find her and get her out, and she survived. And we're grateful that she's here tonight. She's able to tell these guys thank you. I think she's already went once, but she fully made a full recovery. And this was a great story. A couple of these guys, Texas Parks and Wildlife pulled it up, and it was a great deal. One of the pictures we saw in there was the colonel from Texas Parks and Wildlife of the Game Wardens presented these guys with a life-saving award. Craig and George were not able to make it that incident. The deputies and the game warden, they were able to show up. They all got these presented by the state of Texas, by the governor's office, presented these plaques. We're going to present them with a plaque, and our deputies, we're going to give them the life-saving award. Randy got one from his department. And just want to say thank you to these guys. Without them, we wouldn't have Miss Fellows here today, and we're so glad that she is. And we're so grateful to the neighbors that saw this. Mr. Lewis. They're here. Yes, Mr. Lewis, Miss Lewis. She's the one that called 911 and ultimately saw this, and it started the ball rolling to where these people could be saved. And this was just an absolute, while it was tragic in one way, we're still thankful that we have Miss Fellows here and her puppy dog. We still got him, and he's doing good, I think. So thank you so much. Give them a round of applause. And
There you go. Y'all smile. Thank you.
now for the rest of you people in here, our loyal supporters and the volunteers that have helped us through all our fundraisers. We appreciate y'all more than you'll ever know. We want to take the time now to recognize some of you, and we'll try to do quick. We know it's getting late. But we hope we give y'all enough food to where you're good and tired and you don't want to go anywhere. And then we think we have. But every month we do our monthly breakfast, and multiple people show up to support that. But we always have a few people that rise above at our monthly breakfast and always help us out with it. We got a couple people that we want to present an award to, that we want to thank them. First we got Ronnie and Tanya Yanchek, Tanya Rice. We want to thank y'all so much. They're always donating food for us to this, so we can basically do it at no cost a lot of times. And Ronnie, if y'all will come up here real quick, we'll take a picture with y'all and give y'all an award. I'm going to keep talking as they take the picture. We kind of get through this. But this is Ronnie and Tanya. We appreciate them very much. Y'all give them a hand. Next, we got Connie Dew at the County Seat Cafe. Connie's always one of those when we start cooking at 6 o'clock in the morning and we forget we don't have something, we call her and she'll get out of bed in her nightgown and run up there, go steal something from her cafe and bring it back to us. Connie, come up here. We want to thank you and we appreciate you so much. There's been a few times her hair wasn't done, so I mean.
Yeah, 6:30. I want Ricky in my picture.
Oh, Rick.
Oh, just real quick.
What is this, leopard now?
Thank you.
Cheetahs, okay. All right, we've had, in our department, we've had several canines. A lot of them need surgery. A lot of them got very expensive vet bills, and we've been able to do a few fundraisers for that. We've done a barbecue fundraiser, and Roland and Dolores Kane have always come through from Trinity Cafe. They're always donating to us selflessly. We appreciate that. I think tonight we're going to have George Kane, Roland's son, is going to come up here to accept the award for that behalf. Hassan Olive, who could not be here, he's always selflessly giving this to us. Brookshire Brothers donate to us quite regularly, and Coca-Cola, they're not here. So the only one that's going to get a picture tonight for the barbecue fundraiser is going to be George. And we're going to pretend like this is Roland right here. Well, we appreciate your parents very much. They're always there to support us, and we appreciate it. When I first took office, we started raising pigs and stuff at the farm. We seized 5 acres with Benny's help, some drug dealers. We seized 5 acres, we turned it into a farm, we started raising pigs. We didn't realize how fast pigs multiply. They multiply very fast. So we were sitting around the office one day trying to figure out what are we going to do with all these pigs. We got pigs everywhere. So we decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let little kids come up here and catch them. Take them home, raise them, we'll buy them back from them with donated money, save the county some taxpayer dollars, and we will let the inmates eat the pigs. So we raised a litter of pigs, and I think we had a Hampshire boar and a Duroc sow. And I don't know a whole lot about pigs, but when these pigs were born, they looked a whole lot like Honeywood Rooters to me. And I wasn't sure what the case was, but we had a pig scramble, and we let all these little kids come up and catch a pig on 5 acres and take them home and raise them. But about 2 or 3 weeks later, I started getting phone calls from mamas. What in the hell did you send my kid home with? And I'm like, I'm sorry, this pig is chasing my kid and it's biting him. We got several complaints about these pigs chasing kids, and we found out later on that we had a wild boar get into our pig pen and mate with our sow, and we got some wild, and you can't breed that wild out of it. So the first time was kind of a disaster. We were able to get some of them back who didn't get rid of their pigs first before we could, because they just couldn't raise them. But it kind of grew. We got some better pigs in. We started making our bloodlines pure, and we were able to do this program. It turned out very successful, and we had a lot of people that helped with that. Sherman Jones, who always was there for us, he was the chief deputy for a while. He would, he's an expert in livestock, and he would come out and judge our shows for us, and we want to thank him for that. And our Precinct 3 Commissioner, Neil Smith. He's been able to contact and get some belt buckles made through TDC, and he furnished them and paid for them out of his own pocket, and we appreciate that. And believe me, getting money out of commissioners is tough. You ever seen a tax commissioner? This is a tax commissioner. If you think he's wasting your tax dollars, you're wrong, because I promise you, I have a hard time getting money out of it for anything. I got a few other stories to tell him about him later when he's not sitting here close to me. Get away. Technology is expensive. We're often trying to compete with other departments and get the things that we need in. So technology is very expensive. And so we have to raise money for different things. Crime Stoppers has come out to help us a lot. But it's one of our crime fighting tools is we have called a Cellbrite system. The Cellbrite system is a system that we are able to download. We take criminals' phones from them, and we arrest them. We seize the phone, get a search warrant, and we're able to download any of the information on the phone, which normally leads to stronger case, better prosecution, and higher sentences when we send them. Now, this Cellbrite system is expensive. I think it probably runs anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000, depending on how fancy it is. And then paying somebody to go to the training is very expensive as well. So we were able to do some fundraisers, and with the help of Crime Stoppers, and we got a couple people from Crime Stoppers here tonight. If you'll come up here, y'all come up here, please. Crime Stoppers has donated to this. If y'all ever go to the Crime Stoppers event, it's a good event, and they always help local law enforcement, and they help us, and we appreciate that. And Benny Shiro has donated to this cause as well for the Cellbrite. Benny, if you'll come up here. And we want to say appreciate these guys for helping us stay a little more in line with other departments. And we were using other departments' equipment, and it would take hours for our deputies to leave and go and do things. You got something to say, Benny? Benny wanted to say that Cellbrite's what got that teacher that we showed up here earlier, the coach, 20 years because of the stuff we were able to take off his phone. So it was worth the investment we made in it. I'm going to stop just for a second, this part of the program. I want to recognize some of our reserve guys, tell you who they are, in case they're here tonight, so the other full-time guys can take off and be here. With these guys, we're very thankful for them, because anytime we have an event that we need help, they come out. These are normally retired police officers, or that they have other jobs, or they're retired and they've gone on to do other things, but they want to hold their commission, so we utilize them. How many have we got here that's reserves? Basically, these guys are non-paid. We got Daniel Key. He's back here. He's one of our reserves. He also works for Groveton PD. He's always there to help us when we need him. We want to appreciate him. And the next guy here is probably one of my oldest friends in law enforcement. Gail was a highway patrolman in Houston County when I was a kid, and when I went to school in Lovelady. And of course I was in high school, just got my driver's license. He was a highway patrolman. He was fresh out of the academy. He was a Marine, fresh out of the academy. So, you know how them troopers are when they're fresh out of the academy, right? They're going to write everybody, their mom, and anybody else a ticket, right? So I did not know Tyne Field at the time, but I knew of him. There for a long time, people would talk about him in school, all the kids at school, so I thought his first name was That Damn. And I kept wondering who that damn Tyne Field is. Somebody finally said, that damn Tyne Field wrote me a ticket, and I realized they're talking about Gail. So I met Gail on the side of the road one night when he stopped me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. And anyway, we hit up a long friendship, and he kind of was instrumental in me getting into law enforcement. So this is Gail Tyne Field. He's going on to do other businesses in the Houston area, and we appreciate him coming here. We hold his commission after he retired from DPS. He's one of our guys that comes up and can do things. So appreciate you, Gail. Appreciate you, Daniel, very much. I'm sorry, Pickle, where you at? Jason Pickle. Stand up, Jason. Jason Pickle, he was a full-time guy when I went to work here. He stayed on for a little while. He lives in Houston with his wife. very nice, lovely lady there sitting there beside him, and he is instrumental in putting a lot of our programs together. He went part-time with us. He's had some back issues. He's having a lot of surgeries done on his back, so he's kind of gone part-time, but he helps us with all our gun training and stuff like that. Our teachers that get trained in the county, him and Glenn, are able to train some of our teachers that are armed in some of the churches that train. This is where they go to, and they take them out in the woods and they show them some of that secret ninja stuff. And these guys know guns, they know firearms, and and they're excellent. They're expert marksmen as well as Gail, and they can train these guys, and we've utilized them for that. And for that, we appreciate Pickle, and he's one of our reserve students. Thank you, Jason. All right. We try to do a handgun class quite regularly. I'm a strong Second Amendment guy. I believe everybody that's a law-abiding citizen ought to carry a gun everywhere you go at all times. We started putting together and sponsoring a handgun class there at the SO, and I think we're responsible now probably for over 100 people getting licensed and able to legally carry and train to shoot a firearm. And with this class, Wally and Patsy Dunks out of Lufkin would come over and do the class for us. I don't believe they can be here tonight, but we want to send out a shout out to them. Thank you for everything they've done for us. I think Patsy had a stroke, so they would come over. And also the guy that owns Taco by the Tracks, David McKendry, if anybody knows David, I don't think he's here. He's always sponsored these events. He's always sponsored our hunting classes, and we want to appreciate him very much for donating the food to all these events to the kids. Our hunter's education class, we sponsor a hunter education class. Normally I'm the instructor. I put it together, but then I try to get the game wardens to come in and do most of the teaching. These guys come in and they do the teaching for these kids. Another thing they do for the community, they come in and teach our kids how to be safe hunters, get them certified to where they can go out and they can hunt. So we want to appreciate them. If you guys would come up here real quick, Randy, Sam, and Anthony. We got great game wardens. Let me tell you all about game wardens. These are some of the most dedicated police officers you'll ever find. They not only do they enforce the game laws and the fishing laws of the state of Texas, where we can pass on the heritage of hunting to our children, but they're also there when we go out and need them. They go out on search warrants with us. They're arrested in drug arrests, DWIs, BWIs. They patrol our waters. They keep them safe. These are some great guys we got working. We're very blessed to have these three guys in our county.
Is that the way you measure the fish? Or?
Tell you a quick story about game wardens real quick. I went hunting with a good friend of mine one time. We was going duck hunting. And he'd been going to this little secret hole for about 5-6 years, and he invited me to go, and I'm like, look, you guys are legal, right? He goes, oh yeah. He says, my best friend's a game warden. He said, but he's been trying to catch me for a long time, and he's not going to catch me. And I said, well, you're not going to do anything with me here, because I don't want to get in trouble with the game wardens. And he says, oh, we're not going to get in trouble. He said, but I got a plan. He said, let's go. So we went out, and we stayed in this cabin out in the woods, and it was a cold, rainy night. The early morning, we got up and get ready, got all our gear on, and was cooking breakfast. And you had the bacon sizzling, the sausage sizzling, the biscuits in the oven, the eggs cooking. And it was raining, it was cold. And the game warden's name was Bill. So Buddy, who was a friend of mine, who was hosting this little party, he's cooking all this food up. It was smelling good. And I said, well, are we going to be safe? Are we going to, you're going to get us in any trouble? He said, no. He says, everything's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. So a few minutes later, after we sit down, he goes over to the door, and he opens the door, and he just hollers outside. He says, hey, Bill. He says, why don't you come in out of that cold rain, come in here and have some breakfast? I know you're hungry, and I know you're cold, and I know you're wet. Then he shut the door and walked back over and sat down, and we started eating. About a few minutes later, here come Bill. Opened the door, he was mad. Boy, you could tell he was mad. He was wet, he was cold, you could tell he was hungry. And he sat down, and he goes, who give me up? He said, what do you mean? He says, who give me up? Who told you I was here? this morning to catch y'all hunting. He goes, how long have we been hunting here? And he said, about 5 years. And he says, well, I've been going to that front door for 5 years calling you to breakfast every morning. So you can outsmart a game board. It's tough. But you can outsmart them. But they're dedicated. They'll catch you if they try hard enough. All right. On to our bulletproof vest. Some very good friends, very good supporters of mine, John and Mary Ann Dalton. Very generous people. Right here at this table, John and Mary Ann, if y'all would come up here, please. Johnny called me one day and said, you know, with all this going on in the world with these officers getting shot, it's all your officers have bulletproof vests. And I said, well, not all of them. And I said, we're trying to acquire some funds to get them. And I said, some of the vests we have are just obsolete or outdated. And he says, well, I want you to go get everybody at your department measured. He says, you order those vests, get me a bid on them, and I'm going to pay for them. So John Dalton, we want to appreciate you very much. Thankfully, none of these bullets have blue vests have been put to the test. Well, we certainly appreciate your generosity in keeping our officers safe. We thank y'all very much.
If you're not under that light, the glare isn't so bad. So. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I just want to tell everybody, thank you, Woody, for one heck of a job. I came up here in 2008, and the first thing I want to do is I want to know the sheriff. But I want to make sure that my house and everything was protected. And he was a constable. He came to me about 2 years later, and he said, well, I'm thinking about running for sheriff, but I'm not ready yet. I want to prove myself to this community, and you've done it. Thank you so much.
Some of the nicest, most generous people you'll ever meet right there, I can promise you that. They've been coming to the Kalen Center as well, and they've always been very generous at those events as well and raising money for these kids. Another problem in our society today is all the police false accusations of brutality and whatnot. And everybody's saying, oh, you got to get body-worn cameras. And I was against body-worn cameras in the beginning. But I've learned that normally it stops the lies on the cops. It stops people lying about the police. When you start seeing these cameras, you see the truth. So we set out to try to get body-worn cameras. And so we set out to start fundraising, trying to get a little money for that. So we had some people come to us. Crime Stoppers was one of them. We want to appreciate y'all again and thank y'all and bring y'all up here for that. Miss Jolene Wars. Jolene served on a jury here in Trinity County one time, and after it was over with, she says, you know, y'all trying to get some body cameras, and I was on that jury. Y'all need them. We need to see this kind of stuff. So I want to generously donate to that, in which she did, her and her husband. Benny Shiro jumped in on the action, our district attorney. Of course, he's got to prosecute, so it's obviously going to make his job easier whenever we got cameras and we got live or footage of what goes on. So, Benny, we want to bring you back up here. And also, watching our Facebook page was the assistant prosecutor, district attorney prosecutor out of Montgomery County, Nathan Allsgrove. Nathan, if you'd come up here. He called me up one day and says, hey, look, I see y'all are trying to raise money for these body-worn cameras, and he says, my wife and I would like to, and you can bring your wife with you, would like to donate to this, and they sent me a very generous check, and we were able to get our body-worn cameras purchased. So guys, we appreciate y'all very much for helping us do this. Y'all give them a round of applause for that. This is very much needed stuff.
Bring them in a double row.
The ones that got them before.
Okay.
We were unable to afford Benny and Crime Stoppers another plaque. Apparently there was a little shortage of funding from the commissioners. Y'all will look at them and give them another face.
Okay, if y'all pull up just a little bit, please. Pull up in front of the podium and kind of double row, if you don't mind. Yeah, double row.
Neil, we love you, I promise. close.
Okay, say cheese or something.
Queso.
Okay. Okay, so, yeah.
All right, I promise we'll get to the end. Another program I explained to y'all a little bit was the Don't Mess With Me program. This is the program we go to every fifth grader in this county, and we try to educate them about the dangers of meth, what it looks like, and why you shouldn't use it. We showed you some of the slides, we showed you some of the pictures. This is an expensive program. Every kid gets a shirt, a t-shirt that goes on with it, gets some other literature and information about meth, and they proudly, and I see these shirts worn all over this county. I've even seen them worn in other counties. So make sure when y'all leave tonight, if you want a Don't Mess With Me shirt, grab one. But I want to recognize our sponsors for the Don't Mess With Me program. We got Taryn Thornton at Farm Bureau Insurance. We want to thank you. We're going to get you to come up here. James Whittlesey with Farm Bureau Insurance. Sam Houston Electric Co-op, they sent us a check to donate to it. We want to appreciate them. Lee Haggard at First National Bank Trinity. I don't think Lee made it. Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Vaughn. Vaughn, I was going to say Gearhart. I'm not used to you being married yet. We got Mike Broxton, Little Lady State Bank. Mike's always been involved in even though they're Houston County up in Love Lady, they're always involved in the community here as far as the shows. They're always buying animals, and they always show their support for law enforcement. We certainly appreciate that. Mike Lofton with the Trinity, the River of Life Church. Again, he couldn't be here because his wife come down with the vertigo. I don't know if he said vertigo or she drank too much Kodiak. I think it was We'll go with that one. Jason Dew, Citizen State Bank. I don't believe Jason made it tonight. Rich Scott. Rich called and said he was coming down with the flu, so we told him to stay away. We didn't want that. And then Jolynn Wars. Where you at, Jolynn? Come back up here. These are the people that there was other donations. Oh, Matt Hawkins. Matt here? He didn't show up. These people they've contributed the most to our Don't Mess With Me program. We're thankful to them because this is, like I said, a very, very good program, and we really believe that educating these children is the future of keeping our drug problem minimized in Trinity County. Give these people a round of applause. Our next event we had was a fish fry. And we raised a lot of money, but frying fish is hard work. It takes a lot of people, a lot of dedication, and we want to thank everybody that came out to help with the fish fry. From catching the fish, Brother Mr. Lewis, to cleaning them, to preparing them, to getting the grease hot and frying them. It's a lot of work. So we got a lot of people we're going to name here, but everybody helped out equally in this. It was a hot day. We sold a lot of fish, and we're so grateful that you people come out to help us. We got TJ Albright that come and take it cookers. TJ, if you'll come up here. David Yates, David Lee, or is he still here? David Yates provided the big cooker. He had this big fancy grill, and he had discs that go on the back of a tractor. He turned them into a fish fryer, and man, he could produce some fish. Vernon Daydeer, Lewis Stevens, responsible for catching most of our fish. He donated several pounds of fish. Our game wardens, Anthony King, Sam Schonefeld, Randy Watts. Knowing the game wardens, sometimes when they seize fish, we're able to, or they confiscate it, sometimes they donate it to our programs, and we want to thank them for that. Rena Temple, Sharon Casey, Tanya White, Dorinda Stansel, Nikki Park, Frida Dyer, who has the flu, she's not here tonight, Donna Hester, Joyce Harbison, and Brooks Brothers. All the cookies that we have at these events, these ladies will stay up all night long before the fish fry, and they'll cook us a whole bunch of cookies. So we want to thank them so much for using Donna Hester. I said Donna, did I? I said Donna. Where you at, Donna? Again, these people, they all come together and made this event successful, and we were able to raise quite a bit of money, and we certainly appreciate what they did for us.
Okay.
All the ladies. Just keep moving down.
Okay. If you can't see me, I can't see you.
And you, the guy right back here.
Gentleman with that cap on, can you move over just a tad? There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that everybody?
yeah,
Yeah, move over just.
just a little bit that way.
Okay, everybody say cheese.
Woody, look up and smile.
Sorry, I'm looking.
Okay. Or say fish fry then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for your help. Thank you. Now, you can't ever have a party without an adult beverage, for the most part. And in Trinity County, anytime there's an event like this, we're grateful to have Lori and Kurt Stevenson in the community. They've always generously helped out with these events, and they've always been involved in buying animals at the shows and the fairs. And we want to reach out. We want to appreciate them. Kurt and Lori, if y'all come up here, we want to appreciate y'all real quick. They donated all the beer and stuff tonight to them. Again, they're always come through the community. You can always call or text Kurt, because he's not going to answer that phone. But I can always send him a text, say, hey, Kurt, I need this. Sometimes during the day, I will get an answer back, and everything I need, we got. Thank you. Also, we want to thank Michael Schutz and his wife for being here tonight. They're always, Michael's, he runs the little news, the Trinity County News organization. He's always chasing me down for an interview, trying to get information on a story. Poor fella, I feel sorry for him sometimes because he's chasing me all the time, making appointments, and then some reason I can't be there, and he's always waiting on me, and he always gets the story put together, and he always shows up to take the pictures. Michael, we appreciate you so much, and we need somebody else to take his picture. Mike and Sharon, y'all want to come up here?
Oh, here, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, Nikki knows what she's doing with the camera.
Yes, sir. One, two, three. Oh, that's right. That's okay. Do it more. Okay.
I got to say, she makes it work. I just take the pictures.
We're just about to the end of our program tonight. I want to thank, again, all our volunteers, our contributors once again. A special thank you to Wes Cockrell. Wes got the inmates up here, put this thing together. He's been instrumental in everything that we do. He's there he's the man that gets it done behind the scenes. All I got to do is bark an order, and by God, he gets it done. And I'm proud to have him as on our team, and we're thankful for everything he does for us. So we'll get a picture with Wes real quick. All of our other law enforcement agencies, I want to thank y'all for coming out. Our game wardens, our troopers, our constables, Mark Cole. Mark is, again, like I said earlier, he's crippled tonight. But I want to tell y'all one of the original stories about Mark before we leave. He said, uh-oh. But it's funny. And in law enforcement, we see lots of things. Some things aren't good. Some things are we just soon forget about. But when I was constable, Mark retired from the state from being an investigator, so he kind of forgot what it's like being on the street. Mark, anybody knows Mark, you're not going to catch profanity coming out of his mouth in any form or fashion, right? Well, used to. He's some people have rubbed off on him, and I'm not going to name names, Ricky Hope. But we got a call one day. Again, like I said, meth makes people take their clothes off, and I don't know what it is. But I got a call one day. Mark called me and says, "Hey, Bud." That's how Mark calls you. He's, "Hey, Bud. Hey, we got a woman out in one of these subdivisions out here. She's running down the road naked." He said, "I'm on my way out there. And, I'll call you when I get there." And I was on my way to help. Steve Jones was on his way to help. And then Mark gets there, and I get another call. "Hey, Bud. She don't have nothing on but a nightgown. I can see her hiding." I said, "Okay, Mark, I'll be there in a minute." So we get there, and I get there, and she's gone crazy. She's on dope. You can tell she's bad, methed out. She's freaking out. She's paranoid. And so we're going to arrest her. We're going to take her to jail. She's in her house, and we got to get her out. So Mark grabs one side of her, and Steve Jones grabs the other. And you're going to have to forgive me because I'm going to have a hard time telling y'all this without laughing really hard. But as they were walking out the door, this house was very cluttered. Stuff everywhere, and there was a bed laying there in the living room on the way to the door, and Mark trips. So from this point forward, it's in slow motion for me. All I hear, Mark, is I hear, "Ooh." Mark's falling backwards, and this woman is tumbling down on top of it. Now, she wasn't small by any phase of the word, and she had some fairly large mammary glands, and one of them fell out of her negligee. And when Mark landed on this bed, I saw it come down on his face. At this point, I'm on the ground rolling. The expression on Mark's face was sheer fear. And after it was on his face, and he's laying on the bed, and he looked like a turtle on its back, couldn't get up. All I could hear was a very muffled, and again, I couldn't hold it together. I couldn't get up. I was laughing so hard. Steve Jones was mad, cussing me, because I wasn't helping, because I thought it was too funny. So I think that's probably the day that Mark gave up saying "honey" and started saying the real word. But that's just one of the funny stories I thought I'd share with y'all. We appreciate Mark and everything he does. He's helped us a lot. He's been there for us, and he's a go-get-em as an investigator, and he never stops. So that pretty much concludes this program. I want to thank all of y'all for coming out. I hope everything was great. Oh, hang on. What? Hang on. But one other thing I want to say real quick. I want to thank the commissioners. Y'all been a great sport tonight. I told y'all I had to have somebody to pick on. I'm going to pick on y'all about money. Still don't mean if y'all walk out the door, y'all can look at them and say, do that. Let them know that you support law enforcement, and that's where the funding needs to go. So we appreciate y'all very much. Ricky's got something to say. I have a feeling he's got something he wants to give me. He's trying to be sneaky, but he's not. But again, we thank every one of y'all. Y'all were all welcome here tonight. We invited y'all because y'all are near and dear to our hearts. You support us day in and day out. And we thank y'all so much. And if there's anything we can do to help y'all, we appreciate y'all. Please just hesitate to give us a call, and we will do everything we can to get back with you. Again, thank y'all so much for coming out, and I'll turn it over to him.
All right, I'm not a very good speaker like my sheriff is, but I had to write all this down. Thank you all for coming. We have one more appreciation award to give out tonight. This wouldn't be an appreciation night if we left this one person out. This award goes, this award goes to a person that cares so much for Trinity County loves the people of Trinity County, and has turned Trinity County around in a direction where people want to visit and also say proudly they live here. Back in January 1st, 2013, this man gave me the chance to work for him and this amazing agency. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Personally, he has taught me so much in law enforcement field and also about life itself. He brought me up through the ranks of his department and made me the chief when the position came open. Can all the employees please stand up? All employees of Trinity County. This man has given all these people a chance in their career and believes in each and every one of them. It is an honor that I get to present this award to not only my very, very, very best friend, as Ricky would say, not only the sheriff of Trinity County, but in my eyes, he's the best sheriff in the state of Texas. Woody Wallace.
Thank you very much. I failed to speak a little bit about these two guys. I kind of, if you got just a second, I'd like to share a few things with you about them. They've been with me through thick and thin. I kind of, sometimes I overlook them. They're more like my brothers. Tommy is a funny story about how he come to work. Steve Jones called me and says, "Hey man, you ought to hire Tommy." When after I got elected, you need to hire Tommy Park. And I didn't really know Tommy, and I'm like, no, you kidding? I don't need Tommy Park. And but anyways, I didn't know him. Thankfully, I got to know him. I called him one day, and he come over to work for me. And his only request was, "Man," he says, "I'm scared of dogs. Just please, please don't make me the dog catcher." So I think he come a long ways. When Sherman decided to retire, Tommy was the one that I looked at, and I thought, man, this is someone that I think would be a great. If something happened to me, he would be the one that I would want to take this position and run with it. Sadly, this is his last year with me. He is running for commissioner, precinct 1. And I have no doubt that he will win that, and so therefore we're going to lose him, and that's a sad story, but we wish him well in that endeavor. But I will say this about Tommy and Ricky both. This job is dangerous, and we have been put in some dangerous situations, and more than once, Tommy and I have gone to places, and sometimes I just get stupid, and I get crazy, and I don't think about the dangers, and I don't expect these guys, and I don't ever say they work for me, I say they work with me. But in this case, they're working for me, because I don't expect them, I'm the elected official, I don't expect them to follow me into a battle where there's gunfire and where there's danger. And I tell you what, this man right here has been on the opposite side of the door when I was in a gun battle, and was trying to break down the door to get to him, and he had no idea what was going on inside. And come to find out, he was within feet of where the gunshots were going off, and if any of those bullets would have missed their target, they would hit him. And all he was trying to do was get down the door and get to me, and for that, I'm forever grateful. He was there. He's never run from gunfire, and he is one of our true heroes in this county, and I can't say enough about him. He is not scared, and if anybody had to have my back, he certainly got it. Same thing with Ricky. There's been numerous times we've gone into battle. He's never questioned it. He's always been right there with me. And I think in Top Gun movie, if you can be my wingman, these are certainly guys I want to be my wingman, because they have never run in the face of danger. And all of these guys would do the same thing. But these are the ones that have actually been there when I've been in a gun battle, and they've been there with me, and they were there with me, and I can't say enough to say how proud I am of them and how they stood up there. Thank y'all so much for coming. We hope y'all enjoyed the food. Appreciate y'all so much. We're going to try to do this again someday soon. We got to-go plates. If you got somebody at home you want to feed, we got lots of food. If you got somebody you didn't get to go tonight, take one with you, please. We don't want anything to go wasted. And all the deputies, all the DCOs, and employees, jump up here, we want to get a couple.